project files here in Ableton. I haven't tried streaming my screen in OBS before, so you'll have to forgive me if this doesn't work too well. But what I hope to happen here is I hope for this to work out. If I'm doing a 720 stream here, you should get fairly good quality. And you can hear my voice too, so that's nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move through a bit slower than usual because I know people need time to tune in and whatnot. But what I hope to do is take you guys through some project files here. There's a lot of names here that you won't recognize because most of the time when I make a track and I'm working on it, I don't call it the final name. The final name is usually what comes after the track's been finished. So I've got a comments box here. If you guys are tuning in and you want to ask some questions about what I'm doing, feel free to jump in and throw me some questions. But to begin with, what I'd like to do is show you guys how I went about putting together the track called Giving, which is a track that went up on my SoundCloud recently. So if we go to my SoundCloud page here, just shamelessly promoting my own SoundCloud page. If you scroll down here, there's a track here called Giving. And that's what I'm going to be showing you guys to begin with. So what I'm seeing here is some pretty shitty video quality. Let's just make sure that that's actually decent. Yes, I think so for the time being. We've got some people jumping into the comments, which is nice. If you're just joining us, guys, I'm going to spend the next hour and a half or 2 hours taking you through some Ableton project files. Balagal says, "Whoa, I'm the first." Some Russian guy says, "Hi, bro." Zoom says, "How long have you been making music?" I've been making music for about, well, since 2007, so I'm not sure how many years that would be. You'll have to forgive my shitty maths abilities. But anyway, I hope you guys can hear this. This is my Giving project, which went up on SoundCloud not too long ago. And unfortunately, I've had to adjust my system preferences to a display size of 1600 by 900, which is actually even smaller than Full HD. So this is quite cramped. What I might do is actually just reduce this size of this puppy down to maybe 90% or something like that. Hey, Screaming Panda. Hey, Morgan Cat. Hey, Bemounty fan. Oh my God, Senpai. Morgan Cat has joined us as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to be showing you guys some stuff in Ableton for the next hour and a half or so, how I've gone about making things, how I master things. There's also some projects here that you haven't heard before. If there are any issues with the stream, please do jump into the comment box here because I will be alt-tabbing to this quite often for over the next couple of hours. Margaret asks, how do you record the different pieces you use for the songs? I use this program here. This is Adobe Audition CC 2015. I'm actually quite surprised they haven't released a 2016 version just yet. But Adobe Audition comes with the Adobe suite, and so the thing I like about this is I can, again, I'm using a crappy screen resolution here, so this doesn't work out too well. Let me just double check that you guys are actually seeing stuff. Yep, it looks all right. I think so. And so, you know, you can assign hotkeys to things like normalize, amplify. I've also got here a FabFilter Pro Q2, which is excellent for EQing. I've then also got the Isotope RX noise reduction software, which is bloody brilliant for taking out noise. If you open up, if you do a lot of microphone recording, you can actually even go into the Isotope RX audio editor, which is this program here. Let's just give it a second to load up. And this thing has not just denoise, but if you look on the right here, it's got de-reverb, it's got deplosive. This is the big one. This is the deplosive. If you speak really closely to your mic and you don't have the best pop filter, deplosive does an amazing job at taking out all of your all of those pops that you get. Anyway, I'm going off on a massive tangent. Okay, so where am I here? Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks very much, Zoom. The notification for the stream woke me up. Oh, that's good. I guess, yeah, that works out all right. We missed you, dude. Yeah, I don't hang around on the internet too often. Why are you using Ableton? I'm using Ableton because, as you can see, I've got a whole drum section here. So let me just solo the drums. So each percussion strike is obviously a waveform on the timeline, and it's super, super flexible this way. I probably could also have gone about things using a piano roll, but I just love being able to drag and drop samples from the browser here into the timeline, and then just manipulating them, chopping them around, speeding them up, slowing them down, warping them, etc. Another way I could have gone about doing these drums, in a way that probably would have been better, maybe, would be to have it in a drum rack or an instrument rack and then do all of these little strikes in a piano roll. And so then obviously here we've got this kind of hi-hat sample loop, and you'll notice that I EQ everything quite substantially. So this is now an interesting point about this track. This track's done quite well on SoundCloud recently. The main sort of body of the track is this loop here, which I actually made in Ableton beforehand and then rendered out as a sample. And obviously we've got a compressor in there for the kick. Let me just take that off for the time being. Okay, so I made that in Ableton in a separate session using a bunch of orchestral samples. But let me show you where I actually got the kind of music / notation from, and you'll notice the similarity. So this is a loop that I recorded from one of the episodes of that Barney the Dinosaur show, if you remember that. So basically I listened to that, I liked the chord structure, then I remade it. And then I'll reactivate the kick compressor. You can hear it's reducing the volume on each kick drum. It just helps to sort of, it helps with the whole mixing of everything. The way you do your sidechain compression, by the way, is you've got a compressor here on the bottom right of the screen, and that is on my main chords kind of track. And all I've done is I've clicked this little down arrow here, and I've told it to take the audio level from the kick track here and use that to compress the pads. So you can hear that volume's ducking on each kick. It just helps to mix things together. Bass is pretty stock standard. I think this is just a, this is Serum actually. I'm using Serum as a synth. Serum is an amazing synthesizer. I need to take you guys through this once I'm done with all of this stuff. Serum is just an amazing synth. You can assign every one of these knobs to a modulation envelope and everything. It's fantastic. Obviously, here's all the vocal channels. Let me just do a quick search through the comments. I apologize, I'm not going to be able to go through comments too much. Have you ever thought about commissioning animation for your tunes? I'd love to, yeah. If there's someone who'd like to animate something for one of my tracks, I'd love to hear from you. Definitely get in touch on my website, pogomix.net. Thanks very much, Bemani fan. Thank you very much. Plex Media Server for the win. Shout if you want remote access to mine. Might be slow though. Yeah, I've been trying. It's good to see you, Mr. Simon. Thanks for tuning in. Plex Media Server. I've actually just started using this recently. I was worried that you might have to stream your video through your freaking internet connection, but you don't. Much to my relief, it all just goes through your local network. How long does it take to create a track? Asks this Russian fella. Sorry, I can't read Russian. Much less speak it. Yeah, I would say this track maybe took me, gosh, I don't know, maybe a week in total. This wasn't a lot of work. It's basically just finding samples from my library that can go with this chord structure that I put together. And so if you listen to some of these samples, you should be able to recognize what they are. Let's have a look here. Solo this group. That's a Coldplay voice, I believe. That's Coldplay. Then that's just a violin from the iTunes radio. Again, another iTunes radio. Pianos from, I think, a CD of my parents. That's Claudine Longette from an old show. That's Edelweiss, sung by Julie Andrews, I think, who played that lady in Sound of Music. So you go through these. That there is Boo from Boo Bass, Monsters Inc. Okay, so you get the idea. That's how I've pieced all this together. I much prefer working in the timeline. I don't like using the piano roll. The piano roll in Ableton, I think, sucks. I think the FL Studio piano roll kind of kicks its ass. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm bringing in chords from Music 2000. This is a loop from long time ago. I actually used this in a track called The Greatest Man of All Time, or something like that, some shit like that. And I find that it works quite well with these Frere Jacques chords that I remade. You lay them over each other, and they work quite well. And then you add your serum bass. It's just a really basic bass line. Now, on this vocal channel here, you can hear a reverb. That's not just any old reverb. Sometimes when I open this plugin, Ableton crashes, so fingers crossed. Okay, we're good tonight. This is Valhalla Shimmer. This is an amazing reverb for doing very long reverb tails. If I turn up that mix and turn up the size, and if you adjust the size while it's reverbing, you can get some pretty cool effects. So back down to 0.3, size to 0.5 or 0.4, I think it was. Excuse me, I just had a hot chocolate. Yeah, okay, so again, that's too much reverb. Let's pull that down. That is, of course, the voice of the little girl from Hook. And we've got some vocals there from, I think that's from AI. That's, of course, Aladdin. I was watching Full House on Netflix, and the guy who plays Aladdin's voice is actually on an episode of Full House. I hate Full House. I don't know why I watch it. It's just disgusting. And there's the kid from Chitty Bang Bang. And there's Deborah Carr playing Annalea Knowens in The King and I. Oh, and then, of course, Jiminy Cricket from What's Its Name, Pinocchio. I think all I've done there is I've just muted the reverb of the vocals to allow for a cleaner sort of a bridge. And I think that there is the Jungle Book. Yeah. So that's Giving. That's more or less how Giving was put together. Let's take a look at comments. Very sorry I can't keep up with these comments, guys. I'm doing a stream of project files for you guys today. I see I've missed a shitload already. I'm very sorry. When you're coming back to the US, probably not till 2021 or so when my ban is lifted. Any chance you might come tour the UK sometime? I've been talking to Joshua Kershaw, better known as Geesh, about this actually. I would love to play the UK, but I don't seem to have much of a sort of a fan base kind of clientele in the UK though. Any thoughts on free or open source audio software DAWs? Yeah, Audacity is pretty good. As it happens, I'm using open source software to stream this footage. This is OBS, and OBS is fantastic, except for the fact it refuses to work with my RME interface for my microphone. I've had to use my crappy Native Instruments thing. But if you go into your preferences here, you see that you can adjust your, you can choose which service to stream to. You can adjust all of your X264 settings, which I think is fantastic. I can dial in my exact upload speed, which I think caps out around 4,000, so I've limited it to 3,000. CPU speed and whatnot, audio I've set up to have Soundflower coming from Ableton, and my audio control one for microphones. So this is great. I love this software, and it's free. Ustream Producer, I think, costs $200 or something ridiculous, and then you got to pay $100 a month or something like that. I see Livestream is actually worse. So, yeah, that's the Giving project. Pretty straightforward stuff, really. I'll take you guys through some more in a second. Thanks very much to... Oh, my goodness, I can't pronounce all of these names. Just Blue Fairy. Yeah, that's an old track. UK fan, that's great. How you guys doing? I think Mr. Simon's a UK fan as well. I've had no problems with OBS so far. Yeah, it is pretty versatile. It's fantastic. I would never bother with Ustream Producer or Livestream after this. I think this thing just blows it out of the water. It does have some problems streaming your webcam and your screen capture at the same time, though. Seems to just overload it. I find that the 5K iMac, which I'm using, this is why it really slows it down. This is why I've had to reduce my screen resolution, because even though you tell it to create an output of 1920 1080, it still captures and compresses your entire 5K resolution screen. So, needless to say, that's quite an arduous affair. Greetings from France. Thanks, Unfazed. Thanks very much. How do you typically organize your samples? Christ, I don't organize things at all, mate. As you can see, I have got no organization here at all. I think what you might be talking about is maybe how I put them into folders. I've basically just got bits 2016, 2015, 2014, 2012. Wow, it's been 2012 already. It's been that long since I made the Grover Groove track. You should be able to recognize that sample. That's from Grover Groove, which was an FL Studio project. I hope to do FL Studio on my next stream, which I need to go onto my PC for. Good old Sesame Street. Okay, so let's pop open something else here. Let's see. What can I find that you guys are also familiar with? Let's have a look at the Hubbaba Conda track, the Robert Tilton remix. In the meantime, check out some of this. Aussie fan from Melbourne, thanks very much for tuning in. I visited Melbourne not long ago. It's pretty awesome, actually. Really artsy-fartsy part of the world. Don't know how YouTube Live works. Yeah, YouTube Live is a bit of a weird monster at the moment. It's still in beta mode as far as I can see. How did you learn to do all of this? Geez, I don't know. I just downloaded a demo version of FL Studio. Speaking of which, actually, where is what is the what FL Studio version are they up to now? Let's go have a look. It's 12. I'm not sure if they have a Mac version just yet. It would be nice if they did. FL Studio 12. Let's have a look. See, download. I've seen that they're doing a beta version of the Mac version. It would be nice if they released, yeah, 32-bit installer. So if you download this, it actually doesn't say if it's Windows or Mac, but I think it probably is just Windows. If you download this, for example, that's an exe file. God damn it, I'd have to get thingy-ma-what's-it. I'd have to get thingy. Difference between Ableton and FL, perks and pitfalls. So Ableton is great because I think the automation system that you've got here is second to none. All of these little red graphs that you've got here are just so malleable. In FL Studio, you have to create a separate clip system altogether just to house your automation fades, which I think is a bit clunky. Also, if you go into a piano roll here somewhere, which I actually don't think I used any MIDI data for this track. No, there's no MIDI data, but the piano roll in this software I think is just kind of balls. If you create a new MIDI track here, for example, for some reason the thing always likes to start as zoomed out as physically possible. You know, it's not really what you want. Drawing all of this out I find to be a little bit finicky. I think FL Studio does the piano roll stuff much better. I like the piano roll so much in FL Studio that I actually spent 3 days recreating the Hyrule Field theme from Ocarina of Time entirely in FL Studio, and it was perfectly doable. Come back to France, says Jules Kanedvich. Yeah, I hope to. Go back to Euro Disney. Much love from Austin, Texas. I think I went and played in Austin once. It was hot as hell. The climate, the altitude up there, I couldn't breathe. I love Boot Me Half a Gram, Sam. There's always these weird tracks that come out from these guys. So I'm glad you like it, but yeah, that's an odd one. Have you used any external samples like a Kai or Ensoniq? No, not really. Where do you get inspiration to do songs? Geez, I don't know. Just from the samples, really. If you watch Robert Tilton on YouTube, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's all the inspiration you could want. So, this is obviously just all him clapping. And just a quick tip, when you are putting sounds down, you want to space them apart a little bit. When I was a newbie, I would just put all my claps like this. I'd have them all right on top of each other. And so you've got 1, 2, 3 sounds all competing for that space. You want to just separate them out a little bit. So when you actually look at it very closely, you can see that that one's just a little bit ahead of that one, and that one's the last one there. And it just creates a more... Well, when we unsolo this channel, that is, it creates a slightly more separated, sort of articulated sound. If I had all of these... See, that doesn't sound as nice as... That's just got more of a slap to it, more of a splash. So always space your sounds out. Now, this is a drum loop that I found on Spotify. And then I went and added some kick drums, obviously Robert Tilton's claps. And I was really inspired by that Fatboy Slim remix of... what was that track called? Shaking That Ass or something like that. Yep. So, see, I'm definitely getting audio dropouts. Let me just check my OBS 1 second. No, that still looks okay. Okay, so, I mean, that's all pretty straightforward. No plugins or anything fancy. Not really any tricks to talk about here. There is the drum loop. I also have a guitar that I found someplace. And it's actually not timed very well. In fact, you can see I haven't retimed it at all. But what I did with this is if you take the limiter off and you take off the EQs, and maybe even the utility, there's actually quite a strong cowbell in there, which I've taken out quick and cheaply just with a limiter. You see, and I actually went to the extent of taking the cowbell out of there entirely, but for some reason I haven't used it. I'm not sure why. And then I've muted that. Sorry about that. Shakers. And now listen to this. This is actually a pretty straightforward project, really. There's not much going on here apart from basic kind of EQing. What's this? That's one of the claps. No, that's a snare laid in there. That's just one of his claps again. Kicks. And obviously I had to pull some of these vocal samples through Melodyne to get them tuned. This is what you do. That's very, very tuned indeed. This is what you do. Something more than it was. Yes. Very challenging working with Robert Tilton's video because I couldn't find the source material anywhere, and I had to work with very bad quality video from YouTube. So that was that was a bit of a grind. Chord samples here. We've got this. And then I've added, and then little bits of Pat Metheny group, and this, whatever this is. Oh, it's another bass. Okay. I'm convinced some of these vocal samples are off key. I would actually maybe shorten this one just slightly because it's a bit... Yeah, it makes it a little bit... Maybe this one too, actually. It could be even shorter. You see, it just sounds a little bit more punchy. There is a harmony there someplace, but I'm not seeing it here on the... After hurting people. It's probably too much reverb on that channel, I would say. After hurting people. Okay, anyway, that is the Robert Tilton track. Not a whole lot going on there that's anything too fancy, but there it is. Okay, so let's look through some stuff here that I haven't shown you guys just yet. Not a whole lot, really. DDBR is a remake of the track I heard by Todd Rundgren, however you pronounce his name, who composed all the Dumb and Dumber music. So if you take a listen to this, so that's a remake of this. This is the original track that's obviously been muted within the project. This is from the Dumb and Dumber film, the first and only great Dumb and Dumber film. Yeah, oh, it sounds so much better. But I've tried recreating that by stacking a bunch of these guitar... where the hell are they? That one. And the bass. The bass was super easy. It's just a fretless. And that lead guitar is actually very difficult to get right. If you listen to the original, oh, it just sounds so much better. It probably isn't. I don't know if I would even say that's a real guitar. It could be a synth. But yeah, I'd love to get some vocals over this. And then we've just got this super basic loop that I found somewhere on Spotify. I'd love to paint those wood blocks out because they're a bit distracting. And then I've just started extending this with a piano of sorts. Super basic. This is actually a loop that I found on the end of something Sky sent me. Homestar Runatron on YouTube. It's so I've just looped that to be, and then I've transposed it. And the idea is to come back. I need to figure out that guitar, that lead guitar. I need to make it right. Okay, let's check. This is probably the most boring stream ever made. Let's check the comments section. My favorite songs are Splurg and Shitter and Mending. Yes, Splurg and Shitter was an FL Studio project. Very, very old. Very, very shitty. Your tracks are always too short. Yes, they are. Are you using the push 2 in your workflow? Well, I made some stuff. Okay, let me see if I can find the thing that I made on the push 2. I've actually got a few things here that I've made on the push 2. There's a few here, and because I haven't named them in any way, I can't remember what they are exactly. So we're going to run into some crap here. Make no mistake. Oh yeah, so I made all these little drum loops and little bass lines on the push 2. This is what it's great for. So basically, every one of these little notes on the piano roll is what I ended up drawing on the pads of the Ableton Push 2. And I have to say, given the choice between drawing out notes like a loser like this with a mouse and keyboard and doing it on the Push 2, I would take the Push 2 any day of the week. In fact, I actually think you could probably have the Push 2 under your iMac or your computer monitor and use it to fill things out on your piano roll. I think much quicker and less painfully than using your mouse. So yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of push 2 stuff. I'll show you this track real quickly. This is actually something I made before Data and Picard came out on SoundCloud. So this is a loop. No, hang on a second. This is a loop from Star Trek Next Generation that I found. I've got the exact season number. It's season 3, episode Menage a Troy, at 28 seconds into the episode. And so then I start bringing in some of the old pads from the Fluid game. You've got to have Fluid. The track just isn't complete without some Fluid samples in there. I'm actually not a big fan of this chord structure here. But then I've got this here. This is a bunch of chords I put together on the piano roll that are based off music in one of these Star Trek episodes. These drums are very temporary, by the way. I probably wouldn't use... No, I'm not going to end up using those. And there's the Hubbaba Kanda drum loop. This is something I threw together in a very slapdash kind of fashion. And this is actually roughly where I started the Giving track, actually, because you can see here, we go from this into this. So the idea with this track was to put a whole bunch of Captain Picard vocals over it, but it's a bit sleepy, I think, for me. I should actually go through the Data and Picard project. I'm not sure if it's on this computer, though. I'm thinking maybe it isn't. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. It'll be on my laptop, my Alienware freaking paperweight Alienware laptop. Okay, let's check comments again. Sorry. This is far beyond boring. I agree. I love watching your vids like this. It gives a sort of feeling of your awesome talents. Okay, if you say so. You've tried using the pencil in Ableton piano roll, right? Still don't compare to FL, though. No, it doesn't. There is a pencil in the piano roll, yeah. Where's the piano roll thingy here? Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's clunky. I think this whole thing... There it is. Okay, it's a little bit nicer, I suppose. You can't drag them out, though. You got to select... And this levels system down here is freaking terrible as well. You have to select stuff. And if there's 2 notes on top of each other, you do them both at the same time. I don't know. I just think FL Studio and Ableton need to get married. Okay, so that's this shitty track. Let's find something else. Let's load up the Smack and Snack that went up on SoundCloud not too long ago, which is actually called Mr. Houndtown, which makes no sense at all. I called it Mr. Houndtown because it just sounds like that's what the guy is saying. Where is he? That guy there. So let's break this track down. We've got this bass loop here, which has an annoying cowbell in it. You can see I've tried to EQ that out. Saturating a little bit of multi-bands, EQing it again, and some compressor to get it to duck behind the bass. That what sound there is actually Samuel L. Jackson at six semitones high. I think he's actually saying, let's drag this out. Where is he? Yeah, that's Samuel Jackson. And we got some Tekken 3 samples in here too. That's Tekken 3. Okay, then we got some samples here from Fluid. Now this is actually a monophonic loop that I've made stereo. And I haven't done it via any process of stereo separation or anything. What I've done is I've created 2 copies. The one goes on the left channel, the one goes on the right. And in this version, I've selected the complex stretching algorithm. And then in the right channel, I've selected the beat stretching algorithm. And then I've slightly just altered the timing using some warp markers. So the idea is to have a slightly different version on the left to the one that's on the right so that you get proper stereo separation. And I've obviously EQ'd these quite a lot as well because out of the box these pads were quite, well, boxy to put it in an appropriate way. And lacking clarity as well. Wish these little power buttons were a bit... Would be cool if you could like activate it by clicking on the bar. That'd be quite nice.
I want you to get...
It's a classic sample, that one. And again, we've got a bass here from Spotify, I believe. EQ'd, compressed, saturated, compressed again. And then we've got another fluid sample. And another fluid sample. Some vocals here.
Gotta get down.
This is from that Brio track that I put out a long time ago.
Gotta get down. Down. I want you to get down. Gotta get.
Yeah, I think I just scaled this down. Yeah, that's just scaled down. I always...
Down.
It sounds like it's doing a vinyl turntable speed down or something. Okay. And then we got some harps here. I'm not sure where these harps are from. Again, had to EQ this quite a lot. If you take that EQ off, both of them, it's like, oh god, my iMac speakers are actually distorting on the bottom. I'm using iMac speakers just for the stream, by the way. I would never use an iMac sound system for mixing. This is just for streaming purposes because of the way I've had to set up my audio card. This is a Ronan Hardiman sample. Or it's a Dungeon Keeper sample. One of the two. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. No, that's definitely a Ronan Hardiman sample. And when I mixed this on headphones, I actually discovered that this sample was about a semitone too low. It was off-key by quite a bit. When I flicked over to speakers, it became apparent. So, always mix on speakers, kids. We've got some more Tekken 3 samples coming up here. Now, I haven't added any effects to this sample. This is actually... That's how it sounds coming out of the Tekken 3 PlayStation 1 game. So they obviously... I think it's so cool how they've obviously run his voice through some kind of guitar amp. They've tried to make his voice sound like it's an electric guitar.
I want you to get.
That's from a Saint Germain track, actually.
I want you to get.
I would like to flesh this section out with more vocals, actually.
Gotta get. I want you to get.
Okay, and then here we have... That's from Skyrim. Not sure where those harps are from. This here is actually... I'm not sure what that is exactly. Oh, and I've used the Valhalla vintage reverb there. There you go, it's nice. Let's see if I can open this before. Okay, if you're in the market for a good reverb plugin, this is the one to get. This is Valhalla vintage verb. This costs not hundreds of dollars. It costs me 50. I think it cost me about $50 to buy this thing, and it sounds really nice. Not the best demo material there, but definitely check it out. And I've got this sample here from Spotify. I've doubled it up and transposed the second one. This is actually a line from Pulp Fiction. If you take the effects off...
You hear me talking, hillbilly boy?
And I've just retimed it to be a bit quicker and added reverb saturation. Let's unsolo it. Yeah, and then I've just got some kicks stacked on top of each other. There's the body of the kick. There's the splash of the kick. Nice. I found that snare on another Spotify track somewhere. If you go to Spotify Premium account, you get ultra high quality audio, and it's just there's more stuff on there you could sample in a lifetime. It's fantastic. Yeah, so that's Smack and Snack, which started life out. Called Mr. Houndtown, which makes absolutely no sense. It's check comment section. Sorry, guys. Can we get some Carl Sagan in there? That'd be a good idea. So there's a lot of clean samples. Oh, lots of clean samples on Spotify. Lots. Let me show you some of the samples I've picked up from Spotify. Loops 2015 Retro. No, that's... where is this? That's from Spotify. All Spotify stuff. Spotify as well. And 2016. Some chord ideas. There's actually a lot of instrumental versions of tracks on Spotify as well. That's Pat Metheny. There's the sample that I picked up of Sky's thing that he Skyped to me once upon a time. And then these are all older samples. These go back quite a few years. But these bass samples as well, I mean, that's on Spotify. All of these bass things, you can get all of these from Spotify. Oh, these are loops. I could swear to God I opened my bits library. And then here, there. That sample there you should recognize. So yeah, I mean, Spotify is just ripe with material. Okay, so what else have we got here? I've got stuff that has never gone anywhere. Most of the time, I'll open Ableton, I'll chuck some sounds down for a couple of minutes and leave it at that. That's appropriately called Nonsense 1. Yes. Just little ideas. This is something I made the morning I found out that Alan Rickman passed away, the fella who played Severus Snape in the Harry Potter movies. We're losing all the greats, guys. We're losing Robin Williams. We're losing Prince. We're losing David Bowie. We're losing Christopher Lee. I tell you what, it's dark days, man. It's dark days. I'm actually just going to chuck a limiter on here because this is really freaking quiet. Don't know why. Just never paid attention to it. Just for streaming purposes, I'll pump this up a little bit. But I would never chuck a limiter on the master to take care of levels like that. I would always go into the problem spots, which you can see by looking at the meters. The kick and the snare are the issues, so I would group those. I'd limit those separately, maybe control the peaks and the EQ, etc. So, I don't know what I was going to do with this track. Nothing, probably. There's something off key there. Yeah, a bit slow, I think, for my taste nowadays. I'd like to go up to maybe 105. And And that bass is basically just that bass loop, but then kind of changed in pitch. So there's -5, -2. I think I've set this stretching method to tones. I guess I figured it just sounded better than the others. Bass is actually quite tricky to stretch. You end up with all sorts of shitty sounds that you don't really want. Mr. Simon says, I have a problem when producing. If I lay down 1 or 2 samples that don't work at all, then all my motivation drains away and I just stop. Have you encountered that? If so, how do you push past it? I have encountered that problem, and yeah, cripes, I don't get past the motivational problem at all. I don't know. It's weird. Like there's 2 ways to sit down to Ableton or FL. The one is to say I'm going to make something great, and the other way is to say I'm just going to fuck around. I'm just going to experiment. Like I don't know. Let's take. You know, like let's say I'm working with that. Which doesn't have any BPM assigned to it. We'll put that on complex. I think I used this in Smack and Snack actually. That's useless. Oh, okay, that's the issue there. So you get that going, and then I don't know. There's no real drums, so see something like this. Bass is totally wrong, so you'd have to. And you might even have to take the bass out. You'd have to sort of. I'm doing this on iMac speakers. This is a really bad idea. But here you. This, you know, maybe you pull that. Yeah, so I don't know. It depends how you're making tracks, I suppose. If you're using loops like I was there for time's sake, or if you're doing something more like the Giving track where it was tons of little samples kind of together. You know, that's kind of why I like doing things the way I do them. If I go back to... Oh shit, what was it called for 1 second? For some reason I called this Jazzy Woods. Don't ask me what that's about. But in the case of the Giving track, I mean, there is no such thing as things not working out, because the track, I started with the drums like this. And then I dropped in this, which I had already made in Ableton the year before. So then I just added bass. And then all I had left to do really was just draw these vocal bits out. And that's just a case of, I don't know, finding things that match really melodically and rhythmically. That's not really a big deal. But when you're creating stuff from scratch, like, yeah, the Who Baba Kanda track, it took me a long time to find stuff that worked. But I guess I was just so inspired by Robert Tilton that, to be honest, I mean, that whole thing just took itself. It took control of itself. It made itself. That whole track was just awesome to work on. Piano buggery. I don't know what that is. Let's have a listen to that shit. Again, just really peaky drums. If we take those drums out, there's just a lot of peaking there. Yeah, okay, that's nothing special. This is quite interesting here. This is a track I was putting together for a singer as a reference. Okay, so this is a reference. This is not supposed to go out anywhere. So what I did here is I took this loop here and I kind of recreated it using, what is this, serum? 2 serums stacked on top of each other, that is. So what I wanted to do was give this to a singer and say, can you re-sing, can you record this vocal for me? Because obviously what I've had to do here is I've had to chop the hell out of this and retime it and splice. Where are my mixer, my fades? Fades, where are the fades? So there's all the fades, you see. I didn't stretch this vocal down because originally it was very slow. I didn't stretch it down because the vibrato would have condensed and she would have sounded like a chipmunk. So instead what I did is I tried to cut out all the middle bits of the syllables. And I mean, this is just a reference. This is not something I would publish anywhere. So anyway, yeah, that's Wendy from Peter Pan. What's this? OPX Pro. OPX is an amazing synthesizer as well. You've got to check that out. If you're after an 80s retro sort of sound, this is what you can get. There's actually something much better than that I made recently with OBX. Where are you? I don't have all of my project files on here, unfortunately. I need to load up my PC and get my sound library onto it. But this is some OBX stuff. And again, just using bass. I find that it's so much easier to just use a real bass and then just pitch it. It's just so much easier, and you get such a better sound as well. I actually, I want to befriend somebody who's a really good bass guitarist, and just record him playing bass all day and get him through all sorts of amps, because the bass for me is the thing that ties the whole track together, really. And when you've got this tinny, shitty little, you know, you go into operator and you get, I mean, you can get by with some of these samples, but nothing compares to a real bass. And this reminds me, actually, I wanted to show you guys Serum. Serum is an amazing, I'll just drop it on any one of these things, I suppose. Actually, no, I won't, because there's a whole chain of effects on there. Let's drop it on here. Serum is an amazing synth. This is not a very expensive synth at all, but you can hear bass. Some stuff that I've made, actually. I've made some sounds in Serum from scratch. This is a... I tried to make a cymbal because I've always been intrigued by synthesized cymbals. So that's an example of wavetable synthesis. If you go in here, how do you go in here? I haven't used this thing in a long friggin' time. So you have all of these different waves, and it literally just morphs between these waves to create that vocal sound that you hear. All right. And you can get really nice sounds through it. You can get delays, reverbs. Where's some of the actual stuff? Some of the pads in here are pretty fantastic. That's shite. Oh, these pads, these don't sound like pads to me. Crikey. Oh, I think we're clicking. Yeah, I think we're clicking. Hang on a second. I think I may have just killed. I think I may have just killed my audio. Yeah, I just killed my audio. Crap. Shit. Okay, let's just close this and reopen. Okay, well, at least my mic's still coming through. I think I killed my serum destroyed soundflower. That's the way of it. Okay, is this working now? Let's have a look, see. Just get me something playing. It's John Williams, by the way. That's. I think AI was one of the most amazing films Spielberg ever made. I think it's fantastic. It's right up there with Minority Report. Okay, so assuming this is still working, let's just check comment section. How do you play and DJ live? Hardware, software. I use a Machina Mark II for most of my stuff, and sometimes an Akai MPD. Can you talk about how to get that bass sound featured in Bangarang? That is literally just this sample here. Where are we? So if I drag this, okay, and then I might sort of stack that. If I put that in a group, so if I listen to this sample as it is, it's very low down. So I want a sample that's maybe not so low down. So this one wants to come down. So, and then to get more overtones, you might chuck on a saturator. Maybe not in this case, because that actually sounds pretty freaking awful. Anyway, but the idea is to stack on your samples together so that you've got your sub bass, and then you got something a bit further up, and then maybe that's quite nice and round. That. So there's some pitching issues there, but you can stack your bass samples up like that to get more of a full kind of a spectrum. So that works out for me most of the time. This is something that I don't think I ever finished. This was just a bunch of so here I've just taken this loop, which is awfully pitched actually. It would be better to use it on a complex algorithm, and then I've just EQ'd that to get the bass out of that on its own. But it's just it's a Saturday afternoon when you've got nothing better to do really. And then I've got a track here which is kind of an ambient thing that I had coming together. This is just a whole bunch of shite. I had a drum beat in here, and then I thought it might be cooler not to have it. This sample here is a bunch of chanting recorded from the Baraka film, which I really like the texture of, and I've had to pitch it so that the voices are in key. And some of you will recognize this sample coming in here. Which one is it? There it is, I think. Yeah. So that's that, what is that, the Fire Temple? Bolero something? From Ocarina of Time. That's always fun. I like using that. What is this? And then this is... For some reason I haven't decided to put that just straight on the timeline. I mean, that there doesn't really require a piano roll, does it? Okay, so that's kind of getting there slowly but surely. Push Fun 1 and Push Fun 2. Yeah, this is some stuff that I put together on the Ableton Push 2. Which is, I mean, I find you can never quite get there. You can never do as good a job on a hardware controller that you can with a mouse and keyboard, as much as I wish you could. Yeah, okay. And then there was a second one somewhere. Bloody hell, there's too many. Yeah, had some crackling in there, had a little noise, a crackling generator. So this is another Ableton Push 2 project. So I'm not sure what's going on here exactly. We've got drums, which I would have put together in on the pads, and then we've got a bit of that. Bass, harps, piano. But somewhere around here I used the beginning of that Floating Points, that Truly track by Floating Point. Or is it? That's from Mary Poppins, that bit. And then there's, where is it? That's bass again. It's gone somewhere. No, drums. Maybe it's this thing. I can't find it. Maybe it's up here. There. So, yeah, that's taken from... I just kind of like what it does. So, yeah, basic freaking house shit. What else have we got here? Some stuff that I never really made anything out of. I just want to make this track. I just want to call this track E for obvious reasons. So, some of you might recognize those. And then what I've done here is I've taken all my fuzz samples and just chucked them out into a piano roll. You get these sounds actually just by dragging and dropping different kinds of file formats into an audio editor and just forcing it to interpret the file as audio. So you see, a lot of the stuff I make kind of just goes out the window, really. A lot of it just goes into the trash where it belongs. This is a fluid library. I'm trying to recreate the fluid library here. Is this still working? Let's just check. This shit has a way of sort of like not working after a while. You know what I mean? So, okay, so Peace is a world in the Fluid PlayStation 1 game, and... this is just trying to recreate. So if I try to this way I have access to all the loops from this world in the game Fluid for PlayStation 1, and I can mix and match them in kind of the same way I would in the game's music editor. So, let's have a look. What are we looking for? That, then... Ah. Yeah, that was one of them, and then... where is it? I should be able to judge it by the waveforms, actually. Here, this one. Okay, so you get... those three going. That's the wrong bass. There we go. And then percussion, whatever that is. It's definitely... There we go. That's the Amen break, by the way. For those of you who don't know, the Amen break was recorded... What was it? Drum... This has been used in everything, this drum loop. This has been used in Powerpuff Girls. It's been used all over Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. It's a drum loop, it's a drum fill recorded by the Winstons in the 60s. And sure enough, here it is in the Fluid sound library. Yep, that's the right one. That's the right one. And then... Yeah, so I've mixed and matched all the ones that I did way back in the 90s now. Need some levelage. And to a loop like this, I would probably apply one of those Valhalla vintage verbs if it doesn't want to break my Abletons. There we go. So, there you go. Very nice reverb. You got different presets. That's obviously much too big for this. But yeah, let me tell you, sampling all of these things from the game is just a bitch. It is a bitch. Because you have no way of judging where the loop is actually supposed to begin. You see, if you take a loop like this one, for example, it only starts 1.13 beats into the loop. So you have to sort of figure that out when you're sampling from the game, when the first couple of beats, sometimes much longer, is just silence. So that was quite a challenge. What else can I show you guys? I guess I'll jump into the comments for a second. It's not like I'm really paying any attention to this, is it? All hail the Amen break. Yeah, you got to have that Amen break in there. What happened to your music tutorial videos? I took them down because I looked like a wanker. RockShock6 says, that is so cool. The big OK says, hex yeah, none of this is trash. I don't know, it's all just garbage to me. Most of the stuff that let me see, is there anything on here that isn't so crappy? Not really. What's this? This is something I might have chucked together that wasn't so bad. But you will recognize these samples. Yeah, so you've got samples in there, obviously, from, what was it, Paint Your Wagon with Clint Eastwood. That's all kind of built up in there. Again, I'm doing my drums on the canvas. I realize, actually, this is pretty inefficient because you can basically make these stacks in a drum rack instead of having all of these individual things. It's just that, I don't know, when I'm making music, I don't want to be building things, you know, I want to be composing, I want to be putting sound down, I don't want to be jumping through hoops. That's kind of something that really works for me inside FL Studio. Shit, what else have I got here? Not a whole lot. Trap crap, I think that's what my, that's the first version of, oh god, what's it called? Let's just listen to it. Yeah, you know what I mean. Again, there's that Valhalla vintage reverb. Excuse me, the shimmer. The Valhalla shimmer is giving me that really nice reverb. So what I've done here is if you take... this is actually a good way of showing you guys what I do with my vocals. Let's go somewhere where there are some vocals. So let's listen to this on its own. There's quite a few artifacts there actually in terms of pitching. That's not very good. Anyway. Christ, that is a big reverb. I think I might just mix that down a little bit. So what I've done here is I've taken down all of these really nasty boxy bits on the bottom end, and then I've also compressed the top end quite a lot. So dry, the vocals sound like that. It's recorded in the Philippines with my Neumann U87, and then I've taken those. See, if you look at the frequencies down here, you can see that you don't really want your voice to be peaking around that portion of the spectrum. That's, what is that, 200 hertz? That's not good. So I like to dial those down, and then I bring up the treble. But the reason I'm compressing the treble is so that it doesn't come up with any really strong S's or T's or F's or anything where the top end just crackles. So you can see here, when these meters here, the treble meters, reach the top of that box, they get compressed. So now this section here, I'm actually not happy with this section anymore. I don't like the fact that this piano is competing with this. You know what I mean? Like the piano's sort of prying attention away from the voice. I would prefer to have a straight synth that adopts the chords of this piano, but is a little bit more linear and not peaky in the way the piano is. Because on its own, it sounds like maybe what you need is let's see if I can do this without killing my Ableton again. Every time I drop these Valhalla things on here, it wants to have a shit. Maybe they just need to gel a bit more. No, I don't think so. And yeah, look, it could also be these serum basses. Yeah, not sure if that works. I don't know if I like that piano being where it is. Oh. Gotta put that reverb back on the vocals. In terms of chords here, what I'm doing is, what is this? This is just the pad metheny stuff. I've recorded two separate sections of the track, so I can have one on the left and one on the right. And then I've added little bits of guitar. And then this sample, and then this, which some of you veteran fans might recognize. And then we go through this crap again. See, I feel like these vocals are a little bit off time, actually. If you select maybe these, pull them this way. That one needs to go even further back. No, maybe not. That's unusual. That one's definitely too ahead. But anyway, yeah, I think that piano is just not working with that voice. I think it's just pulling too much attention away, and maybe it's the bass. Maybe the bass just isn't doing a good job. If we take these suckers out, See, that's not as bad actually. Yeah, maybe the wub just needs to be brought down. I don't know. So that's Once Upon a Time, obviously. That's also on the SoundCloud page. Let's have a quick comment section, because I'm rapidly running out of things to show you guys here. Let's go see if anyone's even still here. How would you remix a trilogy of films? Example, Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. One song for each movie, or one song... Oh, geez. I would want to do one track for each character, actually. I'd want to do one for Frodo. It's a project me and Dusty Dynamo wanted to do a while ago. He wanted to do Frodo, then I would do Sam, then he would do Sauron, and I would do Smeagol. But I find it very difficult to sit down and make music on cue. You know what I mean? Just to sit down and say, right, I'm going to spend the next few hours making something amazing. I can't do that. It mostly just comes about on its own accord. Which software programs do you use for sampling sounds, both regards to CDs, LPs, and DVDs? Perhaps some of your listeners know. Yeah, I use mostly this program here. This is Adobe Audition CC. This is... hang on a second. I might be able to give you guys a preview of something I'm working on here. Maybe. I might get in trouble for this. No, we won't output through there. We'll go through Soundflower, if possible. If possible. Is this going to work? Maybe. But which one is this? This is the old one. So this is a track I'm working on at the moment, and as someone asked, which software do I use to record and manage samples? This is it right here. This is Adobe Audition. This was formerly known as Cool Edit Pro when it was owned by Centrillium Software before Adobe bought it out. And I think Adobe has actually just made it better, to be honest with you. I think they've introduced a whole lot of extra things. I assign hotkeys to all of my things, like L is my limiter. That's Foxengo Elephant. That's a great limiter. Then I use... FabFilter Pro Q2, as you can see here. So this is Audition.
So positive and easygoing art. Make more money. So positive and easygoing art. Do you? So positive and easygoing art, but I'm a dreamer. So positive and easygoing art. Okay, so positive and easygoing art. And the dance. Make more money. So positive and easygoing art. Therefore, do you? So positive and easygoing art. And the dance. Make more money. So positive and easygoing art. Therefore, do you?
And I can't show you the next bit. I'll leave the next bit for when the actual thing gets published. But there's a little preview. I'm probably going to get into a lot of trouble for that. So, yes, Audition is just the way to go, I think. I can't imagine what else I would want to use. What made you start getting into making music? What age did you start, and how did you make it back then? Well, geez, I started making music when I was about 12 or 13. And, yeah... I started with a video game called Music 2000, which is a very, very old game. Well, it's not as old as Music, but if you go here, Music 2000 for PS1, and then you go to Images. That's it there, Music 2000. It's quite a game. I still actually use samples and stuff from there. If you go back into here and you go through my very old samples. For example, that's from Music 2000, and so is that. I've used that quite a bit. That was actually, if you go to Nicey Nicey, which is my mix of the Mighty Boosh, I ended up starting this track. This is probably going to stream like crap, but there, you can hear that. That is that sample there. That is full Monty. That is straight out of the Music 2000 game. So that's how I started my days, on a PlayStation, on a beanbag, 13 years old. Yes, so. And then things just kind of took off from there. The PC version, yeah, I had the PC version as well, but I don't know, I didn't enjoy using it as much for some reason. I still have the original copy, yes, I've got all my PlayStation 1 games. I was behind, no worries. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd love to show you that, but it's on my freaking Alienware laptop. I'll have to go to my laptop in the next stream and get that working. EJ, yeah, EJ was interesting, wasn't it? How do I get to my chat window and not the main window? Any Star Wars remixes on the horizon? No, but I understand Jeesh is working on a remix of The Force Awakens at the moment. He was going to release it on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, but he hasn't gone through with it. I think he's just found himself perfecting it till Kingdom Comes. Yes, can you say that you're doing doodles in Ableton and later you pick something you want to finish? Yeah, I guess so. You start off making sketches. Like Mr. Simon said, a lot of the time you put things down and nothing really happens, and then you just lose all motivation, really, don't you? I started with Rave EJ, which was available for PC a few years later. Similar, though, not as versatile. Oh, okay. There had some great loops in that EJ software. Jeez, I remember playing that on a beanbag once, actually. That was amazing. As a kid. Great to hear from you again, man. It's been way too long. Thanks very much for tuning in, mate. I really want to see you live. Come to Montreal anytime in the next couple of months. Years. Yeah, I'd like to go to the States again, if only I could. Started on FL Studio 10, stuck with it since. I still think FL Studio is good. I really do. In fact, every time I hear stuff that Jeesh puts out, I'm quite inspired to go back and check it out again. So, yes. What else can I say? I've got a bunch of shit here called Untitled, which is interesting. Not sure what that could be. Maybe that is the No Worries track. No, what is this? That's literally just nothing. There's obviously samples here that haven't loaded. Sample is offline. Yeah, fair enough. That's exciting. Noise and shit. Oh yeah, I remember this. I think I remember this. I think this had a whole bunch of... Okay. So again, putting all my percussion on the timeline. I find it works best for stuff like this though, because you can see where all your sounds are, exactly what the sounds look like. Just FM8. Yeah, so there's a track that I might want to do something with. I had an idea, actually, of turning this into some kind of Robin Williams tribute, using all of his vocals from Dead Poet Society and Patch Adams and all of that, Jumanji and everything. That'd be quite cool. I think there was a remixer on YouTube that did that not too long ago, I think, soon after he died. God, that was a depressing day, wasn't it? Jesus. Oh, God. Windy Blossom. What is that tat? Let's listen to Windy Blossom. God, it's like 2 bars long. Fair enough. Actually, yeah, that's what became... where the hell is that Reaper track that I put up recently? What's this? Oh, this is just some fucking around. Automation. I love automation in this app. So much better than FL's, I think. FL will get there. They just need time. But yeah, I'm trying to find that Dream Reaper track. Bloody hell, I've got no idea. This is it here. Okay. Yeah, Dream Reaper's a track I put up on SoundCloud recently. And I'm just really happy with it. So in this case, I've actually got that sample in a simpler, or a sampler, played through 2 notes on a MIDI track. And I've done a lot of automation throughout this, because I was listening to tons of dark techno on Spotify. I found it quite inspiring. More of that Valhalla shimmer.
Answer generates further questions.
It's the voice of Eckhart Tolle. Just for your interest, that sample there, if you drag that out, that is actually Ribbit. That's that frog from Parappa the Rapper. I just wanted something to go there. So drums are on a rack. Finally, I'm getting the idea right. Eckhart Tolle's voice is slowed down a fair bit and it's chucked through 2 chorus modules. So this bass, I've actually built out of 3 samples. 3, only 3 are activated. This one's not activated. So that's how I've built that. So you just hit Command G or Control G, and then it creates a group, and then you can drag more instruments and modules in there. It's brilliant. Automating the reverb. It's quite fun. This sample here is actually from an old Dutch children's TV show. I don't think it was Moomin, although Moomin was Swedish, I believe. So it's quite a simple track. I liked making this one. It was quite fun. Like to make atmospheric shit once in a while. It would be nice to see what studio equipment you have and use currently. Yeah, I should do some kind of a video thing at some point in near future. Parappa the Frapper Frog in a dark techno track. Yeah, bit random. But do you have any good tips when it comes to your studio room and workstation? Shit. Well, what I would do is, if you've got your speakers, you want to pull your speakers away from corners. You don't want your speakers to be near corners, because that's where your bass gets screwed up something awful. So you want to pull them away from corners on your desk. You want to have them on stands, ideally. And even though they're away from corners, I still think it's a good idea to put bass traps in your corners, those big foam wedges. And I've got them in 2 corners in my room, in my house at the moment. But I'm using a ton of my pads for my movie room downstairs, so it's a little bit echoey in here. It's kind of hard coming to a compromise. But yeah, and I don't know. Just put pads on just any big bare walls you've got. You just want to put big, thick broadband pads all over. And don't pay, $1,000 for a package. Go to like a hardware store and just get that acoustic foam stuff that you can get for like $50 a roll. Just make it yourself. It's dirt easy. Not sure where this sample's from exactly. But yeah, I enjoyed making this track. I'd like to do more stuff like this, actually. I wish I had more of my stuff here, because this is all quite... a lot of this is just a bit shite, really. Nonsense, Who Barber, OXP... Yeah, I've kind of taken you guys through most of this already. There's there's not really much left for me to do except just sit here and answer questions. And as Eckhart Tolle says very wisely,
Answer generates further questions.
yes, so, you know, take it from the wise man, take it from the man with the wisdom. Yeah, so, I don't know, guys, how long have I been streaming for here? This doesn't feel like I've been going for very long. What would you recommend someone to do who wants to create music like you starting off? I'd just get a demo version of FL Studio, man, and just tinker around with it. Look at some basic tutorial videos, maybe get some stuff going on Digital Tutors and Lynda. I think they have FL Studio tutorials. I don't know. How many days does it take to make a whole song together? Well, Dream Reaper, for example, was maybe 2 or 3 days. I don't think it took me that long. But in the case of client work, it can take 3 weeks because there's always changes. There's always, you know, trying to draw blood from a stone, having to make a piece of music out of a perfume bottle or something. Are the speakers and not headsets only for mastering then? Not really. Look, if you get a pair of KRK Rocket speakers, like I've got a pair of Rocket 8s, I should do a video where I show you guys all my equipment at some point. The Rocket 8s are great because they sound amazing, but they also give you a very transparent sound as well. Very flat and faithful, so they're excellent for mastering on. And I find usually you don't really know how your mix is until A, you listen to it on speakers, and B, you mix it in mono. So for example, if you go into your master channel here, right now you guys are listening to this in stereo. This is the beginning. Where's the fleshed out bit? So that's in stereo, but now let's put this in mono. Let's put this in mono. Let's pull a utility into the master channel here and put width on 0%. So this is now mono. If you're listening to this on a computer where your speakers aren't very far apart, you might not notice a difference anyway. But on headphones, you will hear that this is not stereo. And this is actually a very good way of mixing, because stereo flatters your mix. It makes it sound better than it is. You know, when you have 2 sources of audio, your brain and your ears have much more information to kind of, you know, decipher what you're hearing. But when you've got a single audio source, like it is in mono, mixing is a lot more difficult. And that's why I like to mix stuff in mono. Like, for example, when I was doing my Mr. Houndtown track, I mixed it in stereo, and then I went back through mono, and I found all sorts of problems. The pads were not nearly loud enough. The where are they? Those pads in that sort of this bit here. I mean, there are still things there that I would like to clean up, especially if I go into mono and I listen again. You see, the vocals are actually louder than they need to be. See, in mono, those pads are actually a lot quieter, whereas in stereo, they're the perfect volume. So sometimes you have to compromise, but the reason you would mix in mono is because a lot of the time, if someone's listening to your music on a boombox or they're listening to it on an iMac where there isn't that massive stereo image, you know, the speakers are close together, they're far away from your head, it kind of is mono almost in that sense. Or if it's playing, you know, in a public space coming out of a loudspeaker or something, it makes sense to know how your mix sounds in mono. So that's some food for thought, I suppose. Sorry, I'm missing so many comments here, guys. What shirt should I wear? I don't know, something brown. Are you planning a Europe tour soon? Also, what vidya are you playing at the moment? What vidya? Vidya? Huh? You mean like video game? Also, are there any musicians you would love to collaborate with? Yeah, I think Jish and P. Sus I still want to make some stuff with. I just never get around to it. Have you ever spent years on a track, and in retrospect, was it worth it? I've never spent years on a track, man. Have you? Christ. I spent a year... Well, no. I worked on Wishery, and then I worked on it again a year later. Speaking of tours, what about Sydney? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not sure live performances is really my forte. You can figure out your address based on your house tour vids, by the way. Yeah, you probably can. Great tip regarding mono and stereo. Yeah, definitely try that out. Do you plan touring through Europe in the future? I would love to. Would you score a movie, if asked? Yes, I probably would. if the money was good enough. This will be available to watch later. Yes, it will. The only reason the other stream wasn't available is because I seem to have the archive mode set to unlisted, which was kind of annoying. Video game. Yeah, I'm playing Doom at the moment. Doom is pretty freaking sweet. They just throw all the crap out of the window that you don't care about and just leave the action in there. It's fucking awesome. Whereas, and I'm going to get some flack for saying this, but Uncharted 4 is kind of the other way around. It's, well, it's very on rails. There's tons of open world stuff there that I wish I could explore and I wish I could build and develop, but I just can't. I've got to stay on the train car and I've got to just watch it all go by me on this scripted journey. But, you know, Uncharted 4 is just awesome from a technical point of view. It's fucking incredible. The soundtrack for Doom, oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. Amazing. It's just, it goes straight back to the roots, doesn't it? It's fantastic. What about Overwatch? Is Overwatch any good? I haven't played that just yet. I'm kind of concerned it's just another Team Fortress 2, but I could be wrong. The latest Doom game is amazing when it's doing what it does best. When it's doing all of its platforming and storyline bullshit, chuck it. Yeah, I have to agree with that. I have to agree. I don't know if you guys follow Stefan Molyneux on the internet recently. He does a whole bunch of videos on philosophy, but he did a video review of Doom lately, and he had kind of the same thing to say, which was that, you know, Doom's strength is hard and fast action, and the moment it goes into storyline, it just kind of falls over. Yeah, I did play Fallout 4. Amazing. Fallout 4 was fantastic. It's one of those games that you can spend hundreds of hours in. Oh my god, I'm getting tempted just talking about it. That voice sample you also used in that classic Saint Germain track. Yeah, that's right. Which he sampled from a jazz track somewhere, I understand. Thank you for showing me the Mighty Boosh. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, Mighty Boosh is amazing, man. Oh, I really wish they'd do another season. If Noel Fielding and Julian Barrett are really bored tuning into this for whatever ungodly reason, I'm ordering you to make another Mighty Boosh. Are you going to play Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens? Probably not. If you could pick any time period to be born in, which time period will you pick and why? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I'd go back to the 50s, I think. I like the 50s. The 50s were fun. 60s maybe too. 60s was all about peace and love. Have you tried Witcher 3? Witcher 3 is amazing, yeah. But you've got to run it on a PC. If you run it on PS4, you've got to put up with that shitty 25, 30 FPS, whatever it is. What about a Solitaire remix? Oh, that game. Yeah, Solitaire. That'd be the easiest job of my life. I'd love to. Yeah. So I'm kind of running out of shit to show you guys here. Kind of pissed off, really. I should have come a little bit more prepared. What I would do in future on the next stream is maybe try and get this working on my Alienware laptop, where I've got a lot more stuff. A lot of stuff that I haven't published as well, actually. Excuse me. Yeah, I've basically gone through all of this crap. Okay then. Well, I guess I'll answer some more questions and then I'll get going. It's been really, really cool sharing some stuff with you guys. Have you listened to any of Little Tommy J's music? Yes, I think I have. The dude's got skills. Nicey saved my soul. Oh, thanks very much, mate. I'm glad to hear it. Have you ever played the Spyro games? Yes, I have. I think I got Spyro on PlayStation 1 for a Christmas present when I was a little kid. It was amazing. Yeah, didn't that become like Skylanders or something? Did you ever do songs on weird time signatures? My favorite is 13-8. What the hell is 13-8? So if I type... no, I don't think that's going to work in here. It's not going to do anything. 13-8. No, that sounds fun. Make a track. Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. It would be good if I could have some of my stuff from FL Studio to show you guys here, but there isn't a Mac version, and I don't have all my streaming stuff on my PC just yet. Pretty frickin' annoying. Fluid Library, I showed you that. I've showed you all the stuff that's worth showing. I've skimmed through this list a few times now. There's kind of no love for me left tonight. That's it. That's all of it. That's all of it. What is the project of your dream? I don't know. I'd love to make a movie, to be honest. I'd love to make a film out of this Half-Life thing that I did a while ago. Where's this Half-Life thing? If you go Half-Life 2 real life, this video here. I would love to make this into an actual short film. This is something I shot with my 5D Mark II. This is probably going to look like crap on the stream. But, and then I composited these Half-Life 2 characters into the shots. I'd love to make a movie out of this. I did all the sound design as well. It was so much fun working on this. I had to put the Citadel in the background there, which was kind of annoying. Really shitty camera tracking in some of these shots. But yeah, I'd love to make a Half-Life 2 short film, because Christ knows they're not going to make Half-Life 3. And yeah, it's just, that's annoying. I think there's massive potential for a Half-Life movie, but only if it's not sodomized by Hollywood. You know what I mean? I've got to be careful not to quit Chrome here. Let's hide this. Just Bloodborne and Zelda now. Oh yeah, I'd love to make a Bloodborne remix. That'd be fantastic. Insomniac sold the rights and poor Spyro looks awful now. Oh yeah, I think you're right about that. Spyro's my childhood, and it was... Yes, yeah, Spyro was amazing when it came out. Have you ever did any music from Windows besides Apple? What? Huh? Do you like Aphex Twin? I've never listened to him, to be honest. I probably should. It's a name that crops up all the time. I've never heard of Mystery Skulls, no. You're doing a show in Japan. I might be, yes. I might be playing a show September in Japan this year, yeah. And hopefully Dusty will come along with me, because he can speak Japanese almost better than he can speak English. It's incredible. Mystery Skulls. Okay. Do you like Tim Follin's music? You're making me sound like a retard. I don't know any of these names. Stuart Copeland, that's right. Yeah, he did the Spyro soundtrack. He was amazing. Man, music in games back then was incredible. Like the Croc game. The Croc had an amazing soundtrack. I've never listened to Death Grips either. No. Quite embarrassed, really. My knowledge of mainstream music is pretty shite. But when you go on the radio on these days, I mean, can you blame me? Really? Yeah. Okay, what have I got in my loop library? My loop. Let's make some loop music. Okay, let's make some Ian Pooley style stuff. This is what I love about Ableton. You just chuck stuff in and it's like, yep, no worries. We'll time it for you. Okay, what we really want to be doing here is going into Cinderella or something. So let's pull in a simpler or a sampler and let's see if we can do something. The sample here I love, always... Always wanted to do something with this, and the great thing about this is you can loop it, I believe, if you click loop, and then you pull this in, change the fade. Yeah, kind of like that. It's quite nice. But the problem is what to do with it. What to do with it. Yeah, I don't know what I would do with that. I mean, for me to sit here and piece something for you guys together is just going to take hours. It's not going to be a very entertaining stream, I'm sorry to say.
Cherry pies, cream puffs, ice cream, treacle tarts.
Yeah, I wanted to use that for something a long time ago.
He took the children! Never scrumptious as a scrum.
Yes, that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Truly.
That's that Truly track.
So
That's a nice.
she could Ted.
Actually, yeah, let's chuck
Ted.
Let's chuck this down. Let's do that. Pull it down to maybe 110. I'm on the spot here. I'm on the spot, guys. I need some chords.
Well, Fred.
Okay, I need to go back into the original my original Chitty Chitty archives from when I was like 12.
She would talk an oracle. Bang, 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 she loves the key.
Actually,
What will bang, bang, what bang, what? That's the junk got there, Brand. Left. Just
this is fun, isn't it, kids? There's nothing you can do with that, is there? If you take that and hit here. Not really.
just
That's a chord. You can't play them at the same time. It just doesn't quite work. Okay, I kind of like that. So I could record that with my keyboard, but because I'm running through Soundflower, I've got a massive latency. So this might be a kind of a see what I mean? This piano roll is like, zoom in, you piece of shit. Pretty sure I've used this sample before someplace. I don't know where exactly. Why is this more than... Okay, let's loop this somehow. Let's... Give it a bit of... Get rid of that friggin' click. Okay, what I might do now is group this. I'm doing this on iMac speakers as well, so I have to sort of guess what I need to do to this sample. So, I'd want to add something to this, really. Actually, if we go back into that Cinderella thing that I was using before. Where are you? Where is it? Where? So I'm feeling like... It's definitely not working. Just needs to get that breath taken out of it. So then I might go chucking in like a, I don't know, a bass of some kind. It's the simplest thing I've made in like the past decade. What a piece of shit. Instruments, plugins. What's a good bass? Let's build a bass. Let's show you guys how I build basses. Simpler. Where's my MIDI channels? Get me another MIDI. I don't bother labeling things really. Can't be boggered. Let's see, bass. Usually I just go for the same old samples, to be honest with you. So I'll start with this guy. Let's just go, we'll start high so that I can hear what I'm doing and then put the octave back down. Probably just take these and rescale them. Whoops. That's very low down. I might have to actually... This wants to be over here. I'm doing this on iMac speakers, so I can't hear what the hell is going down on the bottom end there. But if I had to guess, I'd say this is probably going to need to be chopped. So let's just... Might be kind of fun to chuck a ping pong delay on here, actually. Did that just get a lot quieter? Oh, just that thing did, okay. So then we might take sounds from, I don't know, where was I? Bits, shitty, whoa, shit. Let's pull out these P things I probably set to standard percussion. And again, I mean, I could go putting, you see, this is the thing, like, I just love putting samples straight onto the timeline. I hate having to make a drum rack and, tweak all the samples, and by the time I'm done building this machine, I want to go have a cup of tea, basically. So let's take that, split that, get that there maybe, duplicate those over. No, I want a kick. I want something to... Okay, that might work as a kick, but I think I probably need to shape it just a little bit. It's a little bit boxy. Again, iMac speakers, no idea what's actually going on. And I might just take that little bit on the top there down slightly. Actually, I prefer it if this was like... I might try doing something with this friggin' bass. I'm not hearing it too well. I'm not hearing it as nicely as I'd like. I could chuck a saturator on there, but I don't think it's going to work out too well. All right, let's see how much I'm fucking boring, everybody. I'm listening through bass-heavy Sony. They make everything deeper. Yeah, I like headphones that are more natural. He doesn't use synth generators, only samples. I could use synth generators, but to be honest, I don't like having to spend time making a bass sound when I just want to get my bass out. You know what I mean? I could go back and replace this with a Sylenth or a whatever I've got here. Operator. Serum is good for bass too. Sylenth. Actually, Trillion is excellent. If you want a really good bass plugin, you'll go for Trillion. What happened to that GameCube remix? That never really manifested, did it? Have you heard of Dan Bull? No, actually, yeah, I think I have. Pogo is live, says Tuna1989. Yeah, so much disappointment to follow. Never watched one of these. Yeah, it's I don't know. This is just something I like to fuck around with when I've got the time. Kind of got a bit inspired when I saw Mr. Simon, because he was doing some awesome game streams of some old Sonic, some tatty-looking Sonic games. And it looked like a lot of fun. So what I need here is some kind of percussion stuff is what I need. Why have I collapsed this?
Ted.
No, that's kind of what it should have been, really. Maybe if I have another version. Damn it. This smaller resolution changes the way your mouse responds. Ugh. Maybe if we... yeah. I probably want to just... This is a quick way of quantizing, by the way. You select all your transients in here, and then you just quantize them like so. Like so. So, what I'm going to do here is... we just go hunting, basically. Ah, yes, the no worries stuff. Why is that not playing? That could be interesting. If you pitch it up. Or not, it's just not, it's not going to massage. Might just... something alright, something emerging. Maybe. Need more percussion. Need more things that actually make it a movie remix. Well, look, you could put that horn in there just for shits and giggles, I suppose. Needs to be... And I would chuck in a nice reverb. Let's just save this as temp. When in doubt, chuck on a reverb. That's always the way. I'm not even going to choose a preset. Fuck it, who cares? Actually, what would be interesting is if you had a harmony on top of that. So you go like... I wonder if it can do a complex warp or if that's just not going to happen. That one's not warped all of a sudden. Some of these aren't on key properly. Hang on a second. I might actually even have them on the second beats. That might make more sense. So I got no idea how this stupid shit sounds on iMac speakers, but you get the idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Teddy bear, she could. Bye, Truly. She could. Teddy bear.
That's the gayest thing I've ever heard. That needs to be tuned.
The answer.
About the cup.
The answer. Nice.
About the cup.
The answer.
It's got chords in the background.
That's
It's
a
annoying.
nice.
So do.
That's a nice. That's a. That's a nice. That's a nice manager.
So this is how I cheat. I just warp it.
That's a nice manager.
Except that sounds crap.
That's a nice. That's a nice. That's a nice.
But again, I'd have a reverb on there just to make it more of an ambient thing than an actual vocal. What I might do is actually...
True sugar plums. True sugar.
Actually, yeah, that might work in that spot there on the chord change.
Sugar plums. Sugar.
After some tunage.
Sugar. 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 Sugar.
Yeah. So you see how it sort of comes together. I don't know. This is just a heap of shit. All right. So, yes. Everyone's getting bored, as I can well understand. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head off. Thanks so much for tuning in. What I'm going to do in my next stream is hopefully crack open FL Studio on my PC laptop and show you guys some stuff made inside FL, which I haven't actually shown you guys just yet. So, OBS. Okay, yeah, OBS looks like it's still working. Cool, cool, cool. All right, guys, I'm going to head to bed in about an hour. I might have a quick shower, have a hot cup of cocoa. It's getting pretty freaking cold here in Perth at the moment. It's getting quite nasty. And thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. It's been really, really cool showing you guys some shit. Really appreciate all the kind words. Panda whimpers. I've never heard that before, I don't think. Yeah, I'll have some kind of solitaire remix done by next stream. It should be a pretty good challenge. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks, James. How about Studio One? Huh? Yeah. And thanks, Tuno1989. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks again, Mr. Simon. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Yeah, I hope it's been of some assistance, some inspiration. And, yeah, I look forward to seeing what everybody gets up to. Will you be streaming regularly? Yes, I hope to. Before you leave, could you say that track name again, Mr. Something Town? Yeah, Mr. Hound Town is the name of the track, but it's now called Smack and Snack on my SoundCloud. Yeah, what's my favorite video game of all time? I don't know. Skyrim is hard to beat, really. I think Fallout 4 comes pretty close. I am going to be releasing a new album, yes. I'm going to be taking some of my new SoundCloud releases and putting them up soon, I hope so. We'll hope to catch more of the next one. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to have this up on my channel so you can see what your friends missed out on for not being here. Thanks, folks.